All right, hey guys, Steven here. Earlier in the video, we talked about there's being 4 goals of credit. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick one of these 4 goals, right? The 4 goals being good credit score. So if your goal is to have a really good credit score, you're going to do one set of things. If you want to follow a different path, for example, getting free travel, you're going to pick goal number 2. Or if you want to do, maximize your cash back, you're going to pick goal number 3. Or if you want to, have a huge credit line of like millions of dollars, you're going to pick goal number 4. So one of these things is you're going to want to pick one of these because you cannot possibly do all 4. Things that you do for one goal are going to hurt your other goals. So for this first lesson, we're going to be talking about how to get a good credit score. We're going to start off with some of the pros, right? If you have a good credit score, you're playing it more conservatively, you're going to get a better mortgage rate, get better loan rates. You're going to get more negotiation power with the banks, and if you ever want to get a really good car lease, and you basically give yourself more power to do that. Some of the cons to doing this though is it's slow. You have to be really patient. Good credit score, in one of our first videos talking about credit, is that in order to have a perfect 850 credit score, you're going to need to do it for more than 9 years. So already this goal is a long-term goal. You're not going to be able to see results in a month or 2 months. So it takes time. There's no immediate gratification. You're not going to see huge rewards. But for some people, an 850 credit score is the lifelong goal, and you can play it that way. So before we jump into a screen share, I just want to write down the 6 factors of credit again. So first one, 6 factors of credit. So number 1 is your credit card usage. And we're going to jump into what is credit card usage. We're just going to do a little recap. So credit card usage is the percentage of debt you have on credit card. So this doesn't include student loans or mortgages. This is just your credit card debt to your total credit line available to you. So for example, if you have a $1,000 credit line available to you and you use $100 of your credit, that's 10%. You want to keep this factor under 10%. You never want to go above 10%, and some of the things you can do to keep it under 10% is you want to pay off your credit card bill before your statement hits. So for example, you have a Discover It card, right? And your credit line's $1,000 and you spend $800 a month, right? So usually you would think that your usage is going to be 80%. Well, how can I get that down? You can pay it off before the statement ever hits. And then, so for example, your statement hits on the 30th and it's the 27th right now, pay off your $800 debt to the credit card companies. And then, when the 30th hits, it'll report to TransUnion, Equifax, Experian, the credit bureaus as 0, and your credit usage is 0%. Second credit card, or the second factor of credit is going to be payment history. Payment history, usually you want to keep that at 100%. Sometimes if you miss one payment, that's okay. You want to try to keep that at 100%. What this means is if your water bill is due, if your credit card bill is due, if your student loan monthly payment is due, make sure you're paying that on time. And that's just a matter of responsibility. Put it on your calendar, write it down, set a reminder, set 3 reminders if needed. Just make sure you're paying it on time. That's something that's pretty self-explanatory. The third one is derogatory marks. So derogatory marks are when you go bankrupt. So derogatory marks usually stem from a poor payment history. So if your payment history is 50%, you only pay half the time to the banks, and eventually one day you just start missing payment after payment for every bank. Sometimes they'll send it to collections, and then if you can't pay it off in collections, it gets added as a derogatory mark. This is where you go bankrupt. That's not good. You don't want any of these. You want this to be 0. You want 0 derogatory marks on your credit report. For your credit age, this is something that's out of control for most people. And this is also why you want to start, I can't write today. This is why you want to start credit as early as possible, because the longer you have credit history, you want to have more than 9 years of it. So for example, if you start when you're 18 and you're 28 and you've opened your first account when you were 18, your average age is going to be 10 years, and that's going to be really good. But for most people, they don't really dive into credit until they're 25, 26. They start hearing other people talking about it, and then they end up with they're 25, they open their first account, and their average credit age is 3 months. And being that, it's not really going to be good. So all these things we're going to show you in something called Credit Karma. If you already heard of it and you already have an account, great. If you don't, go to creditkarma.com. We're going to have that link down below. Just go up, sign up for an account. It's free credit score. It pulls your TransUnion report and your Equifax report. Gives you a free Vantage score every 7 days. And it just keeps you aware of where your credit is supposed to be. The fifth factor of credit is going to be your total number of accounts. So total number of accounts for a perfect 850, and again, we're talking about long term, right? This is going to take 9-10 years to build up really good credit. You want to have more than 21 total types of credit accounts. So what that means is you could have 21 credit cards, that's fine. Or you could have maybe 9 credit cards. You could maybe have 3 loans, maybe a couple car payments, maybe a couple of payments to your mortgages, whatever. You just want to have more than 21 total accounts that are reporting on your credit report to even have a good, perfect 850 credit score. Now, last one, this is the one most people are scared of, but it's actually the one that is the least impactful of your credit score, is hard inquiries. So hard inquiries, there's a difference. There's a difference between hard inquiries and soft inquiries. Hard inquiries is, for example, when you go actively seeking for credit. So if I go to Discover and say, hey, can I get a Discover IT card, give me a $1,000 credit line on that credit card, I am actively seeking for credit. Therefore, it's going to put a hard inquiry, and usually they'll drop your score about 4 to 5 points, which is okay because you need to do hard inquiries in order to get credit. The good thing about hard inquiries is they stopped affecting your score a year after it gets put on your credit report, and after 2 years, it just disappeared like it never happened. Some people get confused because oh, what if I check my score? Won't that hurt my credit report? That's what a soft inquiry is. A soft inquiry can also be done by a lender, like for example, Discover, or it can be done by you, but it's done when you're not actively seeking for credit. And the reason for that is by the FCRA, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you are legally allowed to look at your credit score, which is why you can go on creditkarma.com and pull your credit report, or you can go to other credit reporting sites and pull from their services your credit report from TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, and not get dinged, because that is a right that you have. So we're going to jump into a screen share right here. I'm just going to show you what it looks like on creditkarma.com. So again, go to creditkarma.com in the links below, sign up for an account. It's free credit report once every 7 days. This is a little sample right here. One of the guys here, he is nice enough, kind enough to sign into his account. We're not going to show his name, but right here. So look, once you get to the dashboard on the screen, you're going to see these six little boxes. And what else do we talk about that we have 6? 6 factors of credit. And if you look down here, right, the top left, credit card use, right? Number 1, credit card usage. So this person's credit report right here says he's using a 2% of his total credit line. So I'm not going to click into it because I don't want to show any of his personal information. But right here, you can see that, for example, if he had a $1,000 credit line, he's only using $20 of that $1,000 credit line. Or is that math correct? Yeah. He's using $20 of it, so very little, right? And this goes back to what I was saying in the original when we talked about on the whiteboard here, is that the credit card usage is that even if you have a small credit line, that's okay because you can pay it off well before your statement ever hits and you can get back to a 0%. The second one, payment history. Really simple. Just pay your bills on time, set up a reminder. We all have smartphones, set up an alarm. That's all good, right? Third one, derogatory marks. Just, don't get bankrupt. If you are bankrupt, if you are having trouble with your payment history, we actually do have another video that we did. It's under tylopez.com/invest, and we dive into how to fix your credit report, how to go to these certain credit card companies and how to go to other lenders and how to get some goodwill gestures to remove those marks off your report so that way you can start fresh. The fourth one, credit age. This guy, he has 4 years and 5 months, which is pretty good. That's an average age of credit, right? Some people have 0 because they've just avoided credit for all their lives and they're terrified of it. I'm going to tell you right here is that there's a saying that, the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So if you started credit 5 years ago, you would have a 5-year credit history today. But if you haven't started it yet today and you keep pushing it back, and 5 years later, you're going to be like, oh, wow, I wish I started it 5 years ago. Total accounts, he has 3. So he could have, 2 credit cards and a student loan. Maybe he has like 2 student loan payments and then he has a car payment. So for here, it's like you want to have more than 21. And for the last one, hard inquiries, they fall off after 2 years. So in the past 2 years, whoever this credit report is, he hasn't done any hard inquiries in 2 years, which is pretty good. But like I said, you need to apply for, you need to have hard inquiries in order to get more credit. And that's just how the way credit game works. If you look here, you'll actually see these little 3 dots up here on the screen here. You see like high impact, high impact, high impact. So you see the top 3, those are all green. That means it's good, right? As long as you keep your credit card usage down, as long as you pay 100% on time, and you have no derogatory marks, no bankruptcies, you're good. If your credit age isn't 9 years and above, that's okay because it's only a medium impact. It's not going to like terribly hurt your score, but it's not going to help you if you have no credit age at either. Total number of counts, you want more than 21. But I mean, if you only have 3 or 4 and you want to play it safe for now, that's fine too. So you don't have to have 21 accounts immediately. You can slowly build up towards that, right? Like I said in the beginning, is that this is a long-term game. It's a 9-10 year game. It's a lifelong game to play with credit. And the last one, it's hard inquiries, right? They're low impact, and they're low impact for a reason. They don't expect you to just be like, just get credit without ever doing a hard inquiry. So that's why it's low impact, because it's not meant to hurt your score, like by a huge amount. So this covers goal 1, and just want to make sure you guys are aware of the pros and cons. The pros being that this helps your negotiation power when you go to the bank. You can get more opportunities. You can get better mortgages and loans and interest rates. But for now, we're going to cut it off here. We're going to jump into the second goal in the next video, which is going to be how to get free travel, right? We're going to talk about some of the stuff with Marriott. We're going to talk about how all the different points work. So stay tuned.